Re-record. All right, we are now opening up part 2 of week 3 of multicultural communication and education in Co 415 at Brookline. All right, and we're going to go through the PowerPoint. Got to move everybody all the way down there. Okay. And I put this slide in. Is it okay that I give you an announcement every day? You don't have to read it. Is that okay? Your mailbox clean up?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, good. Todd Matthews, he used to, I don't know if he still works, but he's down in Tucson for Brookline, and he'd send that to the faculty. At least, I don't know if he sent it to students. And I like it. I like being motivated every day because I need it. All right. So this is what we're doing. We're doing key ideas, review, communication strategies, communication and culture, human communications, cohesion, and generalizations. That's what we're doing. And here's not more. So if,
can't see your screen.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't see the PowerPoint. All I see is the rubric.
Oh, good. Thank you. See, I don't know that unless you tell me. So thank you. I mean, I should know that. So I appreciate you telling me I didn't transfer. This is the sign for it's on MindTap. So a new soft habit I want you guys, I'm sorry about that pronoun. Everyone to try to do is put it in chat when we ask questions, because then I can say, yes, they're participating. If we do get a visit from Dr. Spicer, she's going to be checking participation. And I said everybody participates really well, and I'm giving you I believe you have the communication log, which is also saying participation. So it's good. Everything is good. All right. Multicultural communication, we're going to develop these skills here. There's 10 strategies that you should know. This is a slide that you saw last week, I believe, or the other week. You'll see some of the same slides as we are reviewing. Co-culture is more of a new word. It's groups of social communities exhibiting perceptions, values, beliefs, communicative behaviors, social practices that are sufficiently different from other groups and communities from a dominant culture. So we have a dominant culture of United States Americans here, and you'll see that there are a lot of co-cultures, one of them being Brookline students, right? You all will talk about that. One of them would be nurses compared to lab techs, pre-lab techs, and pre-dental assistants. They have that at Brookline, or medical assistants. So those are also called co-cultures. If you have children and they're playing a sport, those parents or the school they go to, you're in a different culture than I am because I'm not at that school. Your work might even have more different cultures. If you ever went from being an employee to a manager, you'll notice there's different cultures, and that you can still relate to some, but some won't relate to you. So there's bias and discrimination and positive things about getting along with everything. Again, this is just a slide when I'm on ground to say, everybody, you need to talk. All right, interconnected global communities. What are the 6 areas impacting your life? Well, again, this wasn't written positive, but we have I have more than 6, and I just wanted to emphasize that. We have international conflict and security. We also have, if another huge culture was conflicting in their country, we also have difficulties in. We have competition for national resources. Right now, some of the ones that are really looked for is titanium, lithium, not so much as gold. There's some other elements, if you know the science, periodic chart. There's competitions for jobs now, a lot higher. We're going global with a lot of jobs. Any of you who have a second language, or if English is your first language, write that on your application that you are dual, triple, how many languages you can speak. You'll get some extra money per hour on that, and you also may actually get a couple dollars increase if you're called in to translate. So definitely put in that competition for jobs. We have environmental challenges, and in healthcare, we have disposal of the nuclear medical stuff, all the ways we have to handle waste from a patient room, and then if they have a COVID, it's totally different that the way you have to gather up their waste. We also have cleaner air, and I think our environmental challenges have changed over the years. It was a new concept when I was in second and third grade. I remember them saying that water was polluted, and that was the first time people ever talked about it. At least I think so. So, and then we have healthcare issues. That is the way people take care of themselves. And in another class, we're studying McDonaldization. McDonaldization is the efficiency of how Henry Ford invented the assembly line in a factory, and how McDonald's took it to fast foods, and now it's in almost in everything we do. But it's a healthcare issue becoming in other countries, especially Africa and Asia, and the ones that are not so progressive. Are we having more healthcare issues with them? And population shifts. So in one country in Africa, I believe it's Africa, the 3/4 of the population is under 30 because they had some devastating diseases. It was HIV and I think malaria that destroyed most of the older people in the country. So this is right now, they're having a population shift. The positive sides, we share music in a global community. I had the Asian music being played that was Japanese, and I'm sorry I didn't have any African music. Has anybody been to the musical, what is it? MII, MIM, the musical instruments of multicultural, whatever it is. That museum, you go by country, I think almost 150 cultures are related there, and you get to hear the instruments that were developed in each of the countries. So we share that, we share art, we share architect, we share transportation, we share food recipes, the way we prepare food, the way we raise our children, the books we read, the farming, everything. We're sharing a lot, and it's positive. It's not like here they have only negative issues. All right, anybody want to put in chat a good word about that? All righty then, I'll go on. Okay, culture is a totally learned behavior, because if a baby is born in a different country and the parents aren't around, they're going to grow up in that country. They might have some of a natural dialect that they heard or whatever when they were when they were a fetus, but other than that, and of course it includes the knowledge, beliefs, art, morals. This is kind of what we talked about last week. How about we want to go forward from this? Yes? Head shake? Yes. Good, thank you. Yeah. Head shake. That's a nonverbal communication. All right. And in China, or in Japan, it means honor, doesn't it? So we're good. We talked about the 3 levels. Artifacts is the top. I think this should be reversed, but beliefs, assumptions, normal values, and artifacts. And here's that slide. Here are some cultural values again. Let's get on to something that's fun. Here's that iceberg I happen to like that iceberg. The things that we see are more the artifacts, and under here is mostly the things we don't see. All righty, so there we got this. And what is the role of global governance? Well, we have trade, and we're having difficulty in our trade with some of the countries around the world. And why is that now? Why do we have tariffs in these other countries? Why did we start? We started with tariffs because we believed they could make it cheaper there. So we started charging, and so that our goods made in America would be about the same price. What we should not have done, and we did in the 70s and the 80s, and maybe you are still, even though you're all younger than that, probably seeing the remnants of that. We took our manufacturing over to the other countries because labor was cheaper. They didn't have any labor laws. Children can work even now. I think there's a lot of countries where if a child is working at 5, we're buying the products. Long working hours. What else? The environment, they don't have as many restrictions. So now what we're doing is asking for those companies to come back, but we have to do a little bit of finagling, and it's out of my control, but it's good to know that. All righty, so now what are some of the humanitarian and legal concerns that require international cooperation? Right? We have trade. Should we have laws about employment laws, child labor laws in other countries when we don't rule those other countries? Should we be able to do that? Should we be able?
No.
Well, yeah. Should we say to their resources, well, you should conserve them or do that? So there's a lot. Anybody else going to talk? There's a lot of concerns right now about how we treat the other countries, and how the other countries, we look at them in before, as when I was growing up, as not knowing anything. They are very intelligent people, just as intelligent as we are, and they're coming to terms, and we need to recognize that. And but if they have a behavior in another country, some of the African countries have violent behavior of the government to their citizens. So should we look at that, the violent behavior? Probably not. So, but what do? Do we buy the goods from that country if they're acting violent? Do we need the goods? Do we need the resources? Yeah, so this is something that your generations are going to work out, and hopefully we could cooperate and work with everybody. What about some of the traditions? Should we have the tradition that some of the Eastern countries have about only one gender? Now, I don't know how many genders there are, but a male gender does all the talking. And what about the way somebody gets married? And should we have those traditions? Is it okay for another country to come here and practice their traditions if they don't go along with our laws? Is that okay? We need to think about all that. We can have a discussion about that. All right. So every culture is unique, and there are some key cultural variations that are important. The difference between a stereotype and a generalization lies not in whether it's appropriate to the particular individuals. We're seeing today, especially what helped more people open up their eyes around the world, is the protests that happened in the past months that we were treating people not so well, and so that we needed to generalize and treat everybody well. So I like the uniqueness, but if the uniqueness is going to hurt someone, even if they're in their culture, does that mean that I have the right to say no or yes? That is what needs to be decided, and that is what is discussed. All right. Human communication. I like this slide, and here is why. I don't have the time now. The reason I like this slide is because I started reading a book by Charles Foster. It's not if you watch My Octopus Teacher. You watch that documentary. Have all your family watch that. It's a great documentary. But this that's by Craig Foster. By Charles Foster is a book called Becoming a Beast, meaning he acted and tried to behave in his adult life like, I think it was 7 or 8 different animals, like a badger, a fox, an otter, a bird, and some other ones. So he actually well, anyway, what he was saying is otters have at least 24 different sounds that they make to communicate. So he's saying animals can communicate with their sounds and their behavior to other animals. We can see this in dogs. Dogs get along really well with us, but they're mimicking our behaviors. So communication is the basic of all human contact, and we must understand a culture before we examine the communication first. I believe that the word first, I copied this from your, as you can see from your Cengage PowerPoint. I don't believe that's a true statement. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not confusing you. How about to understand a culture, we must examine both understanding and understand the communication. We do both of them at the same time, okay? Because you cannot communicate without a behavior or without a tradition. So I think it's both. So while verbal and nonverbal symbols may be different reasons people communicate, different reasons people communicate are the same. So why do you communicate? Anybody want to put in chat? Why do we communicate? There you go, Kyle. Good. Go, you're moving up. Jordan, no. Okay. I'm seeing some people move. I can only see the first 5 people here. I could go like this. There we go. I see everybody else. Okay. Olivia, if you're driving, that's okay. You don't have to, you can just listen, okay? It's a 7.
Professor, are we do communication to express yourself?
Yes, to get a point across. So Olivia, if you're the passenger, good. If you're in the back seat, good. But if you're driving, it's a $75 ticket right now. If anybody, if a cop sees you or you get into an accident, you get slammed with a ticket. So,
no, I'm not holding the phone. It's just there on the.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you don't have to look at class. Don't look at class.
I was gonna say to learn from each other.
Yeah, to learn from each other. We can't pass knowledge on. We can't pass our traditions on without communication. And our verbal ones work really well. Okay. So,
Professor,
yes.
A bunch of people are commenting in the chat room if you want to look.
Beautiful. Thank you. This is really, really good. So let me go. We have 22. This is good. We communicate and learn from one another and understand. We're able to communicate with others. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for going in there. That, you know, I keep talking, I'll talk all the time about the 5 happy hormones. I get dopamine hits when you guys are in chat, right? It's probably, you can't see how much dopamine I get, but I get some, okay? So thank you for doing that. So we need to define communication. What is human communication? We did this dynamic process. in which people share their thoughts and other people through symbols. Look at all these symbols. You were born in China, you're not, or Japan, even Russia, you might recognize some of the letters, but you got more. All those are symbols. This slide is where I really like it. You can say, how do you say hello in your, if you have another culture, how do you say hello? Some people say, what's up? I'll get in touch instead of I contact. Gotta run instead of I gotta leave. What else is things that you say that maybe somebody else might say? Just a short little.
My culture, we say yat in our language.
Ah,
Yat in Navajo.
okay.
Yat
La
yat the Y. Ya
yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You can
Yat
go like this. Huh? That's good. Yeah.
yat yat.
Do you know, it was 20 years ago when I worked for the Yavapai. I don't remember how they greet. No? I think maybe the same? I don't know.
Between Native Americans, a lot of them have a lot of the same words, just different meanings.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's really good. Yeah. I probably said it wrong. I used to know Vietnamese because I had a friend that, well, person I paid to do my nails, and I always tried to talk to her, let me talk Vietnamese. So it's fun. It's fun to do different languages, especially when they're totally different. So thank you. We'll watch this. Oh, this is not a YouTube. It's just, look that up if you want. That's a really good how to say hello in 10 different languages. So we use communication to identify. We're going to talk about when you categorize, defines your loyalties, defines where you belong. It enables you to learn and assist. So we've talked a lot. So did we do this last week? I thought we did this one last week. Okay.
No, I don't think we did.
We didn't, okay. So tell me the difference between high context and low context communication. What is high context, low?
High context, maybe it's communication that is in like a public space.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
The high context be like more, I don't know how to explain it, like more definition to what's being talked about, and then the low
Complex.
context is like, yeah, complex conversation compared to like yes or no kind of answer to the question.
Yeah, I think that's true too. I think we could put all these definitions there. That is a question on your test. So yeah, so we list for all four, either put it in chat or talk. So low context, most people would understand. I would think low context would be also when you're talking to
Isn't low context more like you're talking to your friends, and high context is more like public speaking?
yeah, you got that too. Talking to a toddler, talking to your friends, and talking to managers and employers. I would accept both.
So
Okay.
high context, like formal, basically.
Formal, yeah. Formal, complex. I would, if I was grading your mind taps, I would grade all of them correct. I think you can't just say it's just one little thing. It's a lot. And we got the word high and low. The word, like, I remember when the word hot meant, you know, temperature only, and if it was really hot, it was burning, and now it's good. So there's another, it would be both high context and low. All right, what role does verbal communication play when we interact? We see that all the time right now with your text and your email. Would you rather have a text without any emojis or a text with emoji, saying that's a nonverbal? Oh,
With emojis.
yeah.
The other
Oh,
person.
there we wave. Adorable.
I I
Yeah,
know.
but you know how the other person's reacting to the conversation.
Yeah.
Somebody could respond to you, but you may take it differently than how it's meant to be.
Yeah, if somebody is saying something and they're acting a different way, we know. We read their faces all the time. And I'm a person that carries emotion on their face and emotion on their sleeve is what it's called. And so if I try to hide what I'm saying, it usually will come out in my face or my tone. I need to prevent my tone because it has gotten me in some trouble. So the more terminology from class you use, the better, but generally speaking, several ways to answer this questions. Like, how does nonverbal and verbal communication differs? What about this wave and this wave, right? Or that one when it's good and that one when it's bad. I mean, there's a lot. So if a patient presents themselves to you and told you they were feeling fine and the nonverbal clues told you that they weren't, what do you believe? They're holding their stomach and
The
saying,
nonverbal.
yeah, you believe the nonverbal. I don't know if I have an incident where they're nonverbal, except for like something like that, or I don't, my head doesn't hurt. I know what it is good. When you go into the emergency room, and I believe if you are a female, they will ask you if there is any violent behavior at home, spousal abuse. So that would be when you really would look for nonverbal communication, especially if the spouse is, I should say, any gender and any spouse that you have.
They actually ask that as a general question to any patient that walks in the door.
Yeah. And you're supposed to read their nonverbal communications. I know when they asked me that one time, my eyes rolled back like, why are you asking me that? And that got people in trouble. So don't roll your eyes. Rolling the eyes is not good when you're in healthcare, when you're the patient. Okay, unless, I don't know. I can't think of a time. Okay, what style do you think you use dealing with conflict? Do you get emotionally? Do you start raising your voice? Do you leave? Do you non-communicate? Do you, what are some of the ones that you guys do?
I think it's different for every situation. Like when I'm dealing with it with a family member, I walk away because I know I can get away with saying mean things that I probably shouldn't. So I just walk away.
Yeah, that's true. It does depend. If you're with a boss or a manager, it's best not to say a thing. So yeah.
I either
So
get really mad or emotional for me.
yeah, I get complacent sometimes. I just won't speak, just kind of go along with things. It depends on how long and how many times it's repeated. So if you have to keep doing this, you're doing, I don't know. Anyway, this
I
question,
agree with Martha in the chat. I mean, if I'm mad, I'll just like stay quiet until
yeah,
I feel better or whatever.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I see there is some words in chat. Thank you for telling me there's chat. Yeah, when somebody is mad at me, I'm perfect. So really, I've never experienced anybody being mad at me. But when somebody is mad at me, I usually, I've learned not to get mad. It took a while for me to learn that. You don't get angry. You just put it on them. That, I think, is more of a difficult emotion to control when somebody is angry or mad or nervous with you and you not reacting emotionally. So this one is another question, but we don't have to go into that. Let's go to U-turn, and then this is my favorite song. So I actually have it being played here. I will play it for break. How about if we go on break until 2:35? And I'll probably play this song over and over again. I like the song Happy by Pharrell Williams, right? That's my favorite song. I have that as a ringtone, right? Anybody does not want a break? Okay, there's no voice. Oh, there's somebody in the background there. Oh, another very cute one way in the back.
Thank you.
I know I'm taller than, yeah. All righty. So I'm gonna play this song and I'll see you in 13 minutes. Okay?
Holly,
Yes?
can you stay back and just go over some things with me? I'm extremely confused right now.
Good, I can do that. I can stay here and we can,
So I am confused on the assignments for this week.
okay. These the assignments for this week. You're going to turn in your attendance, right? I don't know
Right.
who's talking. So
It's
Andrea.
Andrea.
Yeah, Andy. Okay. So you're going to turn in your attendance, and you can turn that in today, and you just fill it out. You
Okay.
can just, and because we're talking, you can, there's another, I'm sorry, I looked at somebody. When
It's
it
okay.
started and when it ended, that's fine. The second thing is your communication log. You can turn in the rubric with the cover page. All right?
Okay, so it's okay because you keep calling it a communication log, and I think that's where I'm having the disconnection with it. So it's the rubric. This entire rubric with the cover page is due this week.
Correct. It's going to be due every week, except for when we have another assignment. So the weeks, the
Andrea,
communication
you're
log.
misunderstanding. She's
Okay.
saying the rubric that you showed us at the beginning of class, that's our history about us rubric. That's
That's the
separate
second
from the
one.
communication log.
That's the second one.
Separate assignment.
The first one, I'll pull up the first one I showed. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't mean to confuse you. Okay.
No,
I really don't.
I'm just really frustrated because I'm trying to understand what is due and what's like. I understand a communication log. I don't know what that is and what the rubric is. Like I don't understand what the difference is because I keep getting them. Okay, the rubric is due, but this is due. So
Okay.
what's due?
Here's the difference. Is okay. I made a rubric. Somebody asked me to make a rubric for the communication log. The
Okay.
communication log, and how exactly am I grading it? That's why you have this. All right. That
Okay.
is the reason you have this is because somebody wanted to see where the points fall.
Okay, so my next question is what is this about you paper that everybody keeps saying that is due?
Okay, that's week 4. And I'm going to go to the classroom right now and share the classroom. Okay. I think that would help. So new share, classroom, share. You see it? Okay. So this course shell was not made by me. It's made by Brookline.
Okay.
When they made this course shell and they transferred it to me, you see, I got way too many. So you can see that I transferred it, right, to the course summary. This all comes. And it comes with all these institutional discrimination. I believe we recognize these. They're good to read. I want you to read them if you want. They're not something you have to download and write about unless you want to. In past classes and teachers that are not me, they might make an assignment like week 4 on this. Okay. To me, this is too negative on talking about it. So I eliminated it.
Mm-hmm.
So because I eliminated it, I can go in here. I'm going to go to grades. Okay, you see grades?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have single view. I cannot eliminate all this. This is
Okay.
what was transferred to me. They transferred the communication logs because of COVID when this course was taught by Dr. Rowe. I taught it a year ago and made up communication log in March of last year because we were no longer coming to class and we had to prove attendance. So they have homework here,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I am grading the week 4 thing on. Then we go to week 4. 1, 2, 4. Oh,
See, that's what I have in mind.
right
So
here.
I'm confused. Yeah, that's why I'm confused.
Okay, so it's week 4.
So where does the U paper come into play?
The year history.
Is
that
that what
you-
it?
That's right
Yeah,
here.
I'm
Your culture
okay.
and countries. Okay, it's right here.
Okay.
So you open it up,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe I changed it this morning. Let's make sure I did. It's downloading. It's taking a long time to download today, but that's where it's going to come in, and you
Okay.
get points for that. I didn't
So-
put this assignment in here. It was Dr. Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, I might have to have that when they say, well, you need an assignment by APA style. That's what I put it in here. Do
Okay,
you?
so we're doing the rubric that you went over today, and that includes the U paper.
All right, I see where you're confused, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my desk to see what I have as props. All right. 1989, my son made this.
Uh-huh.
Okay? This is communication log.
Okay.
You turn it in week 2, week 3.
Okay.
No, week 4. Week 5, week 6, week 7. No,
Got
week
it.
8. You got a midterm. Week 9, 10, 11, 12, and I believe 13. Don't count me on 13, but I believe up to 13. You turn in this.
Okay.
You don't turn it in week 4, midterm, or when we don't have the book to go through anymore. Week 4 paper is a reindeer. My son gave me a reindeer when he was 4. This is a different kid than that, my son Nick. So we got week 4 assignment. It's only turned in week 4, your history. No other time you turn it in. That's it. The quiz. My heart. I got this from somebody. Every week that there is a quiz assigned, you got to do the quiz. All right?
Okay.
Now, are you going to get, I think your quiz is 10 points. You turned in a wonderful communication log and you're going to get a 10 on the quiz, no matter whether you get a 2 points on the quiz or you get 8.8, I turn it into 10. Same thing with this guy. This guy, if you turn it in, you get, I don't think you have a quiz. Yeah, you do have a quiz. You have a quiz, I give you 10 points. You don't have to do that, all right? Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to confuse you. It's kind of a
It's
strange.
okay.
It really, in teaching 2 class, you're in both my classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
I'll wear something different, maybe. And we'll go over it. And
Okay.
I won't use these tools. I will use something different that is sitting on my desk so I can remember my kids.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I get stressed and confusion all the time, and I find out I stress more, and then I stress more because I'm stressing, and it's a bad circle. So we have 4 minutes left. You still want to take a break for 4 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I have a question too. So,
Oh, good. Okay.
so I was gone. I didn't come into your lecture
Oh, yeah.
until last week. And I got COVID, and so I wasn't living at home. I was living in a hotel. I didn't have my computer. I didn't have anything because they didn't want me coming back to the house to infect anybody. And so I'm like up behind on all my classes. So I'm also confused kind of about what's going on because I wasn't there for the week 1 lecture. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of catching on to what's going on. Like we had that communication log, and you gave us like a rubric to kind of to
Help you.
help us figure out. But that's all we have. Like so every week there's like week 1, week 2, week 3. So every week we're turning in like we adding to that communication log. Is that what we're doing?
You need to turn in a separate one. Okay. So are you in both my classes or just this one?
Just one.
Okay. And don't worry about catch up in your other classes before you catch up in mine, because I'm not going to give you any deducted points. Right. And if you start to stress, you got that little one. All right. So turn in a communication log. What you'll need to do, because you weren't here for week 1, were you here on week 2 lecture?
Yeah, I was late though because I didn't even know. I just got my schedule like right when when I came back, so I didn't know what time I was gonna be attending, so I had to figure out. And then I had trouble with getting into the Ring Central, so I was like, maybe I came in about like 2 something.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries. That's the only missing 30 minutes. There is no worries with me in your grade because this is not a life or death threatening course. If you are taking pharmaceutical, how to put in, draw blood and all that, phlebotomy, those are life threatening. You need to be exact. Here, I'm going to work with you. So turn in something. If you look at the PowerPoints, look at the YouTube, just write a summary, turn it in. Your attendance is a little sheet or a Word document that's on the attendance thing. You just put your name in, and you could do it at the end of today and the time we started and the time we ended. I have, breaks, but you don't have to fill in breaks. I'm going to give you the points anyway. That is to document that you attended. I have to document that you attended, and I am to put down every minute you attend.
Okay.
That would stress me out because I don't keep really good records when I'm live. I mean, I could see your name. So I'm asking you to send that in for me. And then later on today, I go in and put down that if you're attending, I put in 180 minutes or 60, whatever it is, 160. If I have to put in what you miss and you weren't there, then I have to, it's crazy because one class is attending, one class is what they miss. I have to put in the minutes you miss.
Okay.
But if you fill in an attendance log, you got it the whole time.
And then
Right?
also I see these people putting their names with numbers. I don't know what that means. So
Okay, yeah, that means, I got it here in front of me. Let me see.
I think somebody was trying to help me with that, but they said my name wasn't on the roster.
Yeah, your name wasn't on the roster. So this is, so put in your name as number 20. Okay? You're 20. Oh, how old? She, he?
14 months.
Ooh, love that age. Okay. So we are actually back from break. Okay? Is that okay? So I think So just use the number 20. And then if I have to go through because they say, we know so-and-so didn't put in 180 minutes, I can see that you checked in. I'm documenting it for me and for you if they question it, and for the Brookline. I'm going to explain why you do attendance like that is because the nursing credential people who accreditate colleges want nurses to have an exact attendance like you do at work. Therefore, if they're going to get government money, if they're going to get money for being a nursing college, they have to keep exact logs. So that's why your classes are doing it. If they're not doing it, that's whatever instructor is doing it. I get nervous.
So when I come back from breaks, every break, I just put my name and then the number 20. When I come back from breaks, okay.
Yeah. And you
what
came
about
back
when the class starts or ends?
You should do that when your class starts and do it as you leave. The reason you do it as you leave and the reason we have to have video going, I'm going to say my opinion, all right? My opinion is that if you have the video going, I know you're here. Now, do I attend meetings from faculty, my faculty meetings, and don't have my video going? I really enjoy that because I can listen. I listen to books and I can do a chore. I wouldn't mind if you guys could do that, but I am evaluated on making people show their face. Okay, so I hope that explains. I'm going to take a drink, all right? It's water.
Okay, that's all my questions for now.
Oh, good. No, I love questions.
If anything, I'll just email you.
Okay, the only way I can become a better teacher is to have questions. Because I know I can be confusing, so I really love questions, right? So we're still got, can you see the screen or not? You can? Okay, good. So what we're going to do, oh, we got to go back to the PowerPoint. All righty. And I didn't play the happy song. Okay. Okay. Now let me make sure I'm sharing. Okay, I got to move you guys to get this up here. New share, PowerPoint. Oh, hey, look at that. Can you see yourselves here now? I just saw that I could even share this screen so you see everybody down there. Is that good for you? Or you want it the other way?
That's great.
It's fine, okay, yeah. See, and then I can go like this and like this, see? I think I'm not gonna show the screen. I'm gonna do the other way because I think that's kind of invasive. All right, all right.
Always
looking
use the
at one
PowerPoint.
screen.
Wait a
Yeah, I
minute.
always use the PowerPoint. I don't see any other screen.
Good, good. I don't think you need to see anybody else unless you really want to. Can your computer do that?
We can on the top. You know, we can see other people. We can scroll. So.
Okay, good. I'm going to manually let you, whoever wants to see other people, do that. I'm not going to put your faces up because that's just good. Right now I got the words, the people, I just don't have their faces up, but yeah. All right. Cultures is dynamic and it evolves all the time. I love it as the new, I'm going to take this off. This is blinking my windows, my words. Can't do it, so, all right. Sorry about that. Get the word off, there we go. Can you see the PowerPoint again? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Groovy, nobody says groovy anymore. Cool, I still say cool. There's a word from Louisiana that my sister would say. It's a 4-letter word. Hoot. Oh, that's a hoot. That's culture. Culture is dynamic. I like how we're taking words today, especially your generation, and it's a noun and then they're using it as a verb, or they use a verb as a noun. I think that is great. We never used to do that when I was young. That is a cultural thing right now, and I think it's really good. And changing cultures, technology, populations shifts, resources, shortages, wars, values, customs. Can music change a culture? I think so. I think some of the messages that the songs have do help people to change. Art, does it change? I think so. So not just things on this slide, but other things can help change. And this is Pac-Man. See how old the slide is? All righty. So what precautions should you take? Now we're going back to generalization and the influence of technology. What precautions should you take when you generalize intercultural communications? You got them right there. You pick out the most important, I think would be monitor yourself, because all of them, if you monitor yourself, you'd be doing them. You need to be aware of your culture. You need to examine your attitudes, communication style. You need to be empathetic to anybody, effective listening, and listen to what they say first. I think we went over that last week. So we're going to flip down here. Technology has enabled ordinary individuals cheaply and quickly to organize themselves around a common interest. And that's why technology has really influenced, especially social media. And now, instead of just having Twitter and what is that one? Instagram, Pinterest, they have, I forgot what it's called. There's a lot of different platforms. One of them is where if you have an interest, you can just dialogue back and forth in real time. It is not tape recorded. Nobody records it, or at least supposedly they don't. And it's only on the topic. You can, the person who creates that, like if I was going to say, we're going to do cultural communications for 15, and if you wanted to listen to it, I might say no. You have to ask the person who created it. I don't think many of are using that, but that's a new one that's coming around that I think is going to go over a little bit bigger than some of the ones that are now being used as, I guess they're taking people off. All right, so another generalization, if you're making one, you have to think about your personality, their personality, culture, human nature. Is it human nature to do something? Some of the incidences that are happening in 2020 with COVID, is it their human nature just to rebel? Is it their human nature to be scared? So you have to understand, and in this comes compassion. So it's going to be specific to the individual. It's going to be specific to a group, and you might inherit it. Is it in your genes? I think you learn it from your parents. If you are one to stress a lot and your parents stressed a lot, you learn that from your parents. You can say it's inherited, but you might have more active adrenal glands, okay, that will stress you out more. If you're making a generalization, you should never know what kind of battle they are fighting. You'll never know what kind of battle other people are fighting. So don't ever judge them. People like to generalize because they like to complain about hypocrisy, but never extend the grace. And it should just be people. You should always extend the grace. I don't think I have to lecture any nurses on that or pre-nursing. What does this theory of intersectionality mean? To me, it's a negative word. It means what intersects, what makes one culture different from another culture. instead of saying there are some common things. Some uncommon things between one culture and another culture is how they prepare food. Conflict does. You could argue the environment. If you live in Greenland, you might live differently than a person in Iceland, because actually Greenland is ice and Iceland is green. If you live in Finland, you might take more saunas than anybody else in Hawaii. Now, there are different things. So intersectionality is more of a negative word. Objectivity is being objective and unbiased and not influenced by your emotions or anybody else's emotions. And you approach the new situation open-minded. And there'll be incidences where you will be open-minded, but somebody perceives you as not being open-minded. But that's their perception. It's your perception. In that case, it matters. But if you're perceiving somebody as being not open-minded and they think they are, well, maybe they are in their head. I have no idea. I cannot think for any one of you. I never will know your thoughts unless you tell me exactly what you're feeling. And I believe, like we talked about, the nonverbal and the verbal go together. The state of being unbiased and not influenced by personal feelings, interruptions, and prejudice is known as, this is a test question. So if you think you know the answer, quickly write it in chat. You know the answer? I should see chat.
Check the chat box.
Yeah, I have to check it. I have to move. Chat, there's 19 chats. Okay. Unbiasedness. Forget but lack from, forgot to log in. Okay, unbiased. Being open-minded. We're looking for a word I just said, and it begins with an O, like Ohio. Begins with an O. Next word is B. O-B. Is this a J? No, that would be a J.
Objective.
Objective, yeah, being objective. That's what the book is looking for. Okay, hope you remember that word. All right, I'm gonna take the chat off. Every effective communication, the best way to solve problems is effective communication. No matter what problem you have, if you can't communicate, you're still gonna have a problem. Can you communicate with written word? It's going in your head. Some people will say yes, some people will say no. But communicate more, conversations solve almost every problem. Global trends is increasing. As you know, we're increasing more of our communications instantaneously. So it is a lot different than when this textbook was written. So these are test questions. So globalization is a multi-choice and it's increasingly integrated with world economy. Globalization is new information communications technology. It's in the emergence of international knowledge network and its role of English language. I believe that might turn into Mandarin later. I'm not sure, 10 years from now, it might be all Mandarin, depending on how much we depend on China. But right now, China is actually helping us with is doing more English. International, we talked about policies and programs that we need to see. What I like is that we're having universities, more people from overseas are coming to United States. It gives us a glimpse at their the way their holidays, their traditions, their beliefs, values, and artifacts. I like that campuses are doing that. It's becoming more and more popular. I think we did go over this. We did. All right, Yeah. All right. Okay. This one I don't think we did. Where do most new immigrants, both in the United States and other nations, seek work and residence? This should give you a hint. Where do they seek it? You'll have all these choices. So I would say mostly in high rises. Some here, this is lower. This is way out in the country, but it seems like they're mostly moving into these areas. I don't see it moving on into boats.
I think that was already a question, and it was like suburban areas or like areas.
Yeah, I think you
where
were
they-
right. I don't know why this has all these. Let's go down because I think it's way down. The language. Right? Did you see this one before, Sarah?
No, I haven't seen the PowerPoints, but that question was one that was already on one of our tests.
Okay, that's what I thought. So we have, where's this slide heading? I can't see the heading because I got you guys up there. Language and communication. We have pronunciation, vocabulary, rhythm. The rhythm in the United States is usually what we would like call one. There are some communication that is really fast and some that is really slow. I think we did see all these. And I'm sorry about that. I thought these was completely different. So yeah, then we're going to go into race and that's going to be a week 7. So what I'm thinking is we were here for an hour and a half and that's all we need to record. So how about that you turn in your attendance and you work on your communication log? Does that work for you? Okay,
Yes.
so you can work on your week 4 paper.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna keep it open for a while, but you can check out, perfect. You can put in your attendance log, perfect. You can work on week 4, all right? Not attendance log, communication.
Thanks, Professor.
Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry about duplicating, I don't like duplicating.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All righty, so I am going to go off video.
You want us to send our number in the chat before we send attendance, correct?
Can you stop? I don't care what you're doing.
Well, if anyone is there and can still hear me, are we supposed to log out or do we still stay on?
You can log out.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry,
I came.
took a break.
What time does this class
Yeah.
start?
Okay, what is your question?
What time does this class start?
Well, 1:30.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure because every time I come in, I feel like you guys are started earlier, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, what time did you come in?
I came in at like 1:31.
Okay,
You
well,
guys-
I'm sorry I started too early. I come in and I turn my camera on and, if there's any questions.
Oh,
So-
okay.
It's okay, and I ask, oh, these poor dogs. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. All right, that's all I had. I was just making sure.
Yeah, don't worry. Okay, so I'm gonna go back where we were. I think it was her. No. Yeah. She was good. Okay. Then we have. This one.
first step is knowing your own culture. When people ask me, I want to learn a new culture, I usually say, okay, go look at other culture.